Stock Car Auto Racing welcome you to California Speedway for the Pontiac Y-Track Grand Prix 200 for the NASCAR Winston West Series. 100 laps of racing on the 2-mile tri-oval, but Ray Dunlap, there are 2 Winston Cup drivers on the front row.
That's right, Bob, and our pole setter for today is Kenny Schrader. Now, Schrader has run at least one Winston West race in every season since 1993. With 6 victories in this series, I think Schrader is certainly the odds-on favorite to win today. But 1 year ago here at California, Schrader let one go. He was running up front until lap 72 when he pitted and came in for fresh tires. He tried to get around eventual winner Ricky Craven, but he could not do it. Schrader didn't win that day, but folks, he will today.
Hold on, Ray. The trophy engraver should wait before starting work because Johnny Benson is on the outside pole. His past Winston Cup experience in California is topsy-turvy, with finishes of 8th, 13th, and 43rd. Today, the ultimate goal is a victory, but more importantly, he's chasing valuable track time and hunts a magical California race setup. And if he beats Schrader, that's icing on the cake.
Well, Matt, we know it's awfully tough to beat the Winston Cup guys. I mean, they're very strong with very good cars. But what if you're Mark Reed and you start third today and you know you have a good car? This particular car that Mark sits in right now is one that was previously owned by Tony Stewart. And this car actually sat on the pole at Rockingham. So Mark Reed has little experience in this series in this type of car with only 9 races. But he knows he has the equipment to run with the big boys. If anybody's going to beat the Winston Cup regulars today, I think it'll be Mark Reed.
Wait a second, Ray. In 2000, there have been 3 races with 3 different winners. 24-year-old Brandon Gaughan hopes the parity stops here in California. He rolls off 7th, looking to become the first repeat winner in 2000 and pad his points lead. A 4th straight top 5 finish would go a long way in securing his first career Winston West championship. Bob?
It is the 4th race of the NASCAR Winston West 2000 season, and here is the starting lineup. Ken Schrader and Johnny Benson are on the front row with Mark Reed and John Metcalf back in row number 2. And Benny Parsons, a lot of these names as we look at the starting lineup are very familiar to us.
Yes, we saw most of these young fellas down at Winter Heat in Tucson, Arizona, the 3/8 mile oval there.
And Ray Evernham will also be with us during today's telecast. What do you think? One pit stop for a 100-lap, 200-mile race, Ray?
Absolutely. If the thing stays green, they can go on one stop. If there's cautions, you're probably going to see guys pit more than once to get fresh tires on the cars.
David Starr, the most recent winner in the series at Las Vegas just last weekend, will start last here this afternoon. Well, the engines have been started. They'll soon begin rolling out, and we'll be racing at California Speedway when we come back. The California Speedway, we're a lap away from going green and beginning this 200-mile contest. The racetrack is 2 miles. The front stretch 3,100 feet, the back stretch 2,500. In the corners, the banking is at 14 degrees, and the tri-oval is banked at 11 degrees. And we have 5 onboard cameras that will complement our coverage here this afternoon.
Eric Norris starts 9th as the Janet King onboard camera. Brendan Gaughan has the Napa Martin Sr. paint, starts in 7th spot. John Metcalf has the Remax Realty people. He starts in the 4th position. And a front row on the outside, Johnny Benson, the LearnFrame.com. And on the pole, Kenny Schrader, the Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet.
And at Schrader's 6th Winston West pole in his 15th career event. The purse, more than $220,000, a good purse for these Winston West competitors. And they should be able, as Ray Evernham said, to go on just one fuel stop. That is, if we go green all the way. Kenny Schrader holds the race record here, set in 1998.
I wouldn't think that these guys, as unfamiliar as they are with a racetrack this large at this kind of speed, I would be very surprised if we run for any extended period without a caution flag.
This is a nice wide racetrack, though, and it can afford you to get into a little bit of trouble and saving the car, but We have seen quite a few cautions in the previous races here for the Winston West Series. Let's hope we can go caution-free and have a good competitive race. Nice-looking field of cars, 32 strong as the pace car pulls off the racetrack. And Ken Schrader and Johnny Benson lead them down to the green flag and the start of the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200. Stay right together off corner number 2 and down the back stretch. First 4 positions are the way they were when they crossed the line for the start of the race. Schrader and Benson. And now the number 4 car of Mark Reed asserts himself into 3rd place, sliding up in front of the 14.
There's Austin Cameron, the 12, the white and orange car coming on the inside of Jason Small, trying to take over that 4th spot.
Schrader will lead lap number 1 at a speed of 161.175.
That was Benson that led that first lap. Come on, man.
Good side-by-side battle here. Small up high. And the 12th car of Cameron Austin down on the low side as they battle for the 4th position.
And Brendan Gaughan, the 16 car, right behind these 2 cars. Austin Cameron in that 12 car, wasn't he involved in that fiery crash up in turn 3 here last year, year before?
Right behind him is Brendan Gaughan. Gaughan was on the pole position for the most recent race out in Las Vegas. And he now pulls alongside of Jason Small. Austin Cameron has gone to 4th position, so the battle now is for 5th, and here comes Gaughan, and he'll take the position away from Small.
And he's trying to take that 4th spot away from Austin Cameron. 2 young guys, Brendan Gaughan about 24 years old, Austin Cameron probably about 21, 22, and almost makes contact.
Very, very close side-by-side racing up in the 4th corner. Brendan Gaughan leads the points as we hit this 4th race of the 2000 Winston West season.
Man, a real scramble behind these guys, but this battle still wages on.
Cameron still has the advantage, but Gaughan has a good run at the bottom of the racetrack. They'll go down the backstretch once again and stay wheel to wheel. Still Johnny Benson and Ken Schrader up front with Reed in 3rd, and then this battle for the 4th position. Think it would be a little further around up there on the high side, but Cameron has hung on now to that 4th position.
And those 2 guys running side by side really truly let this group of cars catch up. We see Craig Rodman, the 2 car, trying to get by Joe Bean. Meanwhile, we're back to the Austin Cameron, Brendan Gaughan, Jason Small battle for the 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Is Kevin Richards on board now with the 32 car driven by Eric Norris. He just lost a couple of positions. He started 9th but moved up a couple and then slid back last lap to the 9th position once again.
His way back up front. I don't know if that sun's going to be a problem as it starts to set later in the day.
Could very well. It's going to sit over behind turns 3 and 4, and as they come down the backstretch, it could present a potential problem. There we are up front again with Johnny Benson out front. He's led every lap so far. 6th lap just completed. Meanwhile, back here again, we have a good battle for that 4th position as Gaughan and Austin Cameron continue to go at it tooth and nail. Jason Small looking on in the 14 car.
Kenny Schrader goes by Benson, takes over that lead spot. It looks like Benson said, okay, Kenny, I'll let you lead a little bit just so you won't be mad at me.
With 7 laps completed here at California Speedway in the Winston West event, it's Ken Schrader, Johnny Benson, and Mark Reed up front. Back to California Speedway. Bob Jenkins along with Benny Parsons, Ray Evernham, Ray Dunlap, and Matt Yoakum. And we're in the 7th lap of our 100-lap Winston West race, the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200. Johnny Benson and Ken Schrader are running first and second, followed by Mark Reed, then Austin Cameron and Brendan Gaughan. Those are the top 5. Everybody in single file formation now for the most part. Here's the 52 car of Mike Grady. Looking to the inside of the 8 car driven by John Borneman III. Up front, meanwhile, Ken Schrader leads by about a couple of car lengths over Benson.
And Ray Evernham, I would think that these guys, the Napa 500 stock car race for the NASCAR Winston Cup cars tomorrow, I would guess these guys are learning a great deal that will help them tomorrow because these cars are almost identical to what they'll race tomorrow.
They are, Benny, and this is a test for them. Being that we only run here once a year with Winston Cup, most of the Winston Cup teams are based in Charlotte. To come out to California to test is quite expensive and takes a lot of time. So these guys will run this race and get an idea of some of the things they want to do for their car for tomorrow.
This is the 5th Winston West race that's been held here at the California Speedway, and Ken Schrader is leading his 4th, the most of any Winston West active driver. And they have separated themselves quite a bit from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th running cars. And again, the best battle on the racetrack is between Cameron and Gaughan. However, up front, a pretty good battle also going on as Benson and Schrader trade the lead. Matt Yoakum has more on Johnny Benson.
Talking to crew chief James Ince, they feel like that Schrader may have a little more motor down the straightaway, but their car handles a lot better in the corners. They are down on power. This race itself is just a test for this race car. If you recall back to Atlanta, Johnny missed the race. This was that very car. They took the car home, cut the body off, put a new body on. They brought it here to California. Thought it'd be a great opportunity to see if it was the chassis or the body why they had trouble in Atlanta. And right now they have good indications that it was the body. Up.
Benson now has the lead by just a couple of car lengths. And Schrader now retakes the lead. So just when you think somebody's going to pull out and establish themselves as the dominant car here, we have a change of leadership as Schrader once again falls back.
And I'll tell you that Brendan Gaughan has finally taken over that 4th spot from Austin Cameron.
Once again, Benson closes in on Schrader off the 4th turn. They're giving these fans gathered here this afternoon a great show.
And look at this battle for 3rd. Not too bad. Brendan Gaughan goes in there, takes that 3rd spot away from Mark Reed. That's Reed in the yellow number 4.
And that's Austin Cameron back there in the orange car. He's going to slide up behind Reed.
And Jason Small now trying to take a look on the inside of Austin Cameron.
So Bean back there in the 7th position, followed by Craig Rodman. Small down low. Might get the position here. The 1999 of the year in the Winston West Series, trying to pick up another position. They're 4 wide in turn 4.
Wow.
And it's Small. Wave to the guy.
Craig Rodman, that 2 car comes by. And Rodman started back in 16th spot. And we've seen Craig Rodman down at Tucson almost every year. He and Dave Reed that owns this car.
Now it's a battle between Small and Bean, the 14 and the 77.
Bill Nava, the owner of the 77 car. Been racing in the Southwest Series and NASCAR Winston West for several years.
And we have a report that the 15 car of Jack Sellers is slow on the racetrack. There he is on the apron in turns 3 and 4. He was in the pit area before the race started, so there was obviously a problem with the car even before the green flag dropped, and now he is coasting, it appears, into the pit area. Meanwhile, Benson and Schrader continue to go at it.
Benson trying to take the lead, and Schrader said, I think I'm going to keep the lead for a little bit. Another car was low on the bottom of the racetrack.
Looks like Schrader will come down to lead lap number 15.
And meanwhile, Brendan Gaughan has caught these two cars. The Napa Chevrolet is right behind. There's the 87 car of Gene Christensen.
One of the rookie contenders for the NASCAR Winston West Series, and he's going right to the garage area. He finished 17th at Mason Run for his best finish of the year 2000, and it looks like that it may be an early out for him this afternoon. Look at this battle going on up front as Benson gets a good run on the bottom of the racetrack and retakes the spot from Schrader. And Brendan Gaughan is right there, Benny, as you indicated, only about a car length behind Schrader now. Gaughan's finishes in 2000 that has put him atop the point standings. He finished 4th at Phoenix, 1st at Mesa Marin at Bakersfield, and 4th at Las Vegas. Let's get a report from the pit area.
Well, Bob, we saw the number 87 car of Gene Christensen go to the garage area. Gene probably has more laps on this track than anyone else because he teaches in the school here. He had a brand new Sabco car, and they really were hoping for a good day, but no oil pressure in the engine right now, so the 87 car is done for the day.
Now it becomes a 3-car battle for the lead, and Gaughan looks like he may take a shot at Schrader here.
Brendan Gaughan's going to take the lead.
He sure does. Down the backstretch, and Brendan Gaughan becomes our 3rd leader of this race in the first 17 laps. He has a couple of Winston Cup competitors behind him in Schrader and Benson, then Mark Creed and Austin Cameron, the top 5.
This commercial.
The year, and back here is the battle for 5th position between Cameron and Rodman, and here comes Small in the 14 car to the inside.
A slow car on the inside that quickly gets out of the way.
There's the 83 of Rick Bogart. Meanwhile, as Gaughan has the lead, the battle now between Schrader and Benson is for 2nd position. And we get down to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Bob, Kenny Schrader, let's go back upstairs.
Yeah, the crash, Austin Cameron,
Man,
in 5th position, has severely damaged the back end of his car.
and as close as Austin Cameron was running with these other cars, the first thing that leads you to believe some contact going down in the corner, but possibility that he just lost it. There's no way of telling.
Here it is.
And Cameron just loses it. When Craig Robinson said, oh my goodness, can I miss him? Can I miss him? And just turns left. And Joe Bean luckily gets by the 2 car as Rodman almost turned in front of him.
Well, Cameron brings the car down onto pit road. He won his first Winston West Series race at Irwindale last year. Now we go back down to Matt with the continuation of the story that he started.
Well, Bob, Kenny Schrader was reporting in his car was a little loose in the middle and tied off the corner. They were going to make some adjustments. It sounds like they are. Conversations on the radio saying they're going to pit for 2 tires. James Ince and Johnny Benson are still deciding what to do. The 16 car took the lead because both Benson and Schrader decided to let Brendan lead a lap because he is chasing the points championship. So just a little bit of drivers being cordial to each other with one chasing the championship. Bob?
good point. These other two, of course, are not contesting for any points, and so Gaughan is up front collecting 5 bonus points for leading a lap. And the pits are open, and looks like that Gaughan is at least trying to make people believe he's going to make a pit stop, and will, as several on the lead lap come down.
It looks like they can't wait to get to the pits. Maybe they're thirsty.
Here comes about a dozen, well, make that a lot more than a dozen now, as the pits are open and Gaughan comes down. Be sure to stay below the speed limit, and we go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bob, Kenny Schrader brings the Federated Pontiac in. They're going to change air pressure up 1 pound on the right front to try to make the handling a little bit better. Fuel is going in. Actually, a good bit of fuel spilling out here. Now to Matt Yoakum with the leader.
A 4-tire stop for Brendan Gaughan. He was reporting his car was very good. They're not going to make any chassis adjustments or adjust the car with air pressure. A 4-tire stop for Brendan. A little bit of trouble on the left side with the jack as the left side tires go down, but a long stop for the point leader. Right?
Well, Matt, down here, Mark Reed comes in, and they're doing a 4-tire stop, but they wanted to pull a spring rubber out of the left front, and that's taking him a good bit of time. So Mark Reed going to lose a number of positions as he was running up in the top 5 here. A long pit stop. The fuel is in. Left front tire going on now, and it looks to me like Mark Reed probably lost at least 10 or 15 spots.
And Brendan Gaughan suffered considerably too because of his 4-tire change, but some of them only changed right sides.
And Joe Bean is still sitting down there with the car on the jack on the right side. There, finally, the car goes down. I guess the jack broke because there's 2 jacks sitting on pit road. I guess one of the jacks broke. Look at the damage back behind the 77.
Benny, when you see something like that, probably what happened was car rolled forward, kicked jack up under the door. I've seen it happen many times in Winston Cup. They probably had to bring that other jack around to get the first jack from being jammed underneath the car.
And the hood is up on the Eric Norris car also. Now they put it down, and we'll get Eric back into competition. So under caution here at California Speedway, 21 of 100 laps are completed in the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200. The resumption of our Winston West race here at California Speedway. Caution because of an accident involving Austin Cameron. There's the number 50 car of Johnny Benson shown as the leader right now, with Ken Schrader running in the 2nd position. A lot of guys lost a lot of track position in those most recent pit stops, and there is Austin Cameron, who's going to get taped up, and, well...
They left the roll of tape as he was leaving, and the kindly NASCAR official goes over and tears it off.
In any case, he is back in competition. Here's the pit summary. Gaughan lost 11 positions on his 4-tire stop. Schrader stayed in 2nd. Benson moved up to. Reed also lost considerably, and Small gained 2 positions.
See the cars weaving back and forth, trying to clear that debris off the tires, getting ready for a green. There's Steve Portingay in the 3 car. Brendan Gaughan back in the, I'll say you were 16, 12. Yep, 16's a number.
Right. Portingay right behind him. So now the pace begins to quicken up just a little bit as the field begins to move through the 3rd and 4th corners. The pace car still on the racetrack, but soon be turning hard left. And here we go back to racing once again as the green flag comes out.
Up on the outside, Kevin Richards has moved up to the 4th spot. I talked to Kevin on Friday, and he said, man, we are terrible. Just could not find the handle, but maybe they've got everything lined up, and he's in 4th spot. Better after Friday. Oh, look at this mess.
And something just came off the 00 car. I don't know what it was, but it went flying across the racetrack. That was Gaylord, and look at this.
Fantastic. The 20 car right in the middle looks like he's off the pace on 7 cylinders or something, and he just stayed in the middle, and they all went around on the inside and outside.
Well, he had gone down a lap and was one of those that lined up to the inside for the restart, and then got in the middle of the racetrack and created a real jam behind him. And they're still fighting for position as they come out of corner number 2 and down the backstretch. And that is Mark Reed up on the high side as he makes it through wide. And the caution is out once again. And I imagine it's because of the piece of debris that came off of the 00 car. That happened over at the end of the backstretch in turn 3. And there it is.
That is part of the exhaust system. We call that, Ray, a collector or
the header collector, and that's not normally good. If that's missing, there's probably a bigger piece of a tailpipe laying out there somewhere.
NASCAR official at the end of the backstretch with the yellow flag in hand. This will necessitate some track crew members to come out and get it off the racing surface.
Whoever lost that is going to want to get it back on there, because the car's not really going to run very good at all without that.
I saw it come off a car, and I thought it came off the 00. Let's take a look here and see if we can.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Right there. Ooh, looks like that car may have hit it.
It might have been Kevin Richards.
Mm-hmm.
And debris on a racetrack like that is one of the reasons that they run the 1/4-inch thick plastic or Lexan windshields in these cars. They're almost bulletproof. Something like that would not go through the windshield made out of that Lexan.
I guess it was Scott Gaylord, because here he comes down pit road, I guess, to raise the hood and check and see if there's anything they can do. I don't think there is, but at least they can look.
He probably feels it getting hot under his feet right now, Benny.
His best finish in 2000 came at Phoenix, where he finished in 9th position. He's been in all 5 now races in the Winston West Series that have been held here at the California Speedway. In all of his years of racing in the series, he's never won. However, he has finished second on 2 different occasions. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap on the 32 car, who's in once again.
Well, Bob, Eric Norris has been talking about the car not running right. Last time they pitted, they found out they had a plug wire off of that car, so they got that fixed. He said they had a little bit of a handling problem, so he decided to come in and pit right now. Now, this is a car that Jimmy Smith built for Ricky Rudd to run at the Brickyard a few years ago. Eric Norris got a chance to buy that car, and he said it's the best car they've ever had. 3 times that Eric's run here, he's never finished better than 12th, and they believe they've got a car good enough to do so today. And now that that plug wire is back on, they think the car will be much better.
And when not racing, Eric is a stunt coordinator, and he even directs some episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger, which of course stars his father, Chuck Norris. Back with more in a moment. We have 12 races. Here are the point standings. Brendan Gaughan on top. John Metcalf 63 behind. Steve Portengay is in 3rd position. Notice down in 7th position in the point standings, Austin Cameron. We saw him crash earlier, get back onto the track, but he's back behind a wall, and he's also with Matt Yoakum.
Car behind pit wall. Austin Cameron has climbed out. The guys are looking at the car, but it appears the fender braces and a bunch of other chassis components are broken and bent. Cameron, what happened?
Man, I tell you what, we had a good race car to begin with. You know, we set her up kind of loose, because we thought, you know, last year we run it up here and all we got was tight. And this year we set it up the other way, you know, and there was quite a few wrecks and stuff before us in the Busch race, and track was a little slick, and, you know, I was just trying to make it to the next round, the next pit stop, so we could get that thing to tighten it up and go up there and fight for the lead, you know. But we were sitting pretty good where we were at. Just want to say thank you to the sponsors, Marcon, Creative Touch, and Hawthorne, you know, Pell Mell Supply, and cement cut in ink. Everybody helped me out a heck of a lot, and man, hopefully we get this thing back out on the track. The only thing that I have to say is that, boy, somebody got underneath me and took the air out from underneath me, and it was with a loose car. You know, I couldn't hold it down, and just lucky we're still in one piece.
Tough break for Austin Dillon.
23-year-old driver from El Cajon, California, is out of the race as the green flag comes out again, and we're back to racing. Still Benson and Schrader up front, first and second. Jason Small runs third.
Man, they got a real mess going back here for about 10th spot. That's Jerry Glanville in the 81. Coach, careful now, Coach. Steve Portingay. And on the outside, Mark Reed just blows by all those guys.
Meanwhile, up front, they just continue to swap the lead here.
I think they're playing, Bob.
Well, they're certainly putting on a good show. They really are, and that's what it's all about.
Playing or not, right?
And they're probably learning some stuff, too.
They probably are. And it gets down to the last 10 laps or so. I think they'll get real serious and figure out who's going to take on the bulk of the money. See, the last lap was only 162 miles per hour. You never see Jerry Glanville once again. Then 81. On the outside is Portingay. Rick Bogart there in 83.
Three car looked kind of loose right in the middle of those two cars there.
This is Jerry Glanville's second start this year. He finished 11th at Las Vegas. His best finish here was last year in 16th position. Ray Dunlap has more on the coach.
Well, Bob, Jerry's moved up 10 positions, and part of it is because they made a last-minute gear change before this race started. Just about everything on this race car comes from Ernie Elliott's shops, and they do a lot to help out Jerry Glanville. And Ernie gave a call to his coach and said, I don't think you have enough gear in that thing. So they made a last-minute gear change, and coach says he likes it a lot. They've moved up 10 spots.
You know, you really got to admire the coach because we know of his record in football coaching, but he's doing now what he's always wanted to do, and I applaud him for that. Here's once again a battle for the lead as Benson goes back in front.
Would that mean that you'd like to come and drive our second car next year, Bob?
Absolutely not. No desire to.
Well, let's go back and see what's Jerry Glanville once again. He has a sponsor on the quarter, Power Gum. And they're as serious as they can be back here. The 8 car there is John Borneman, the third. And Bogart slows down in the corner, and Glanville just powers on the inside. Now they're going to go 3 wide.
And now up front we have a change of position, and Jason Small takes the lead.
Well, they let Brendan Gaughan get 5 bonus points. They got to let Jason Small get 5 bonus points for leading the lap.
He is our 4th leader of the afternoon. Benson has led the most laps, 18. Schrader, 11. Brendan Gaughan, 4, and now Jason Small. We'll catch back up with this battle here.
Saw some smoke out of the back of that car. David Starr, I believe, the winner of the last NASCAR Winston West race out in Las Vegas. They just passed all these guys, moved into the 10th spot.
Regular in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Benson has decided that, okay, Jason, we let you lead. You got your 5 points, and now I'm going to go back into the lead.
I think it's a great lesson for a guy like Jason Small and Brendan Gaughan to be able to run some laps on the Speedway with Kenny Schrader and Johnny Benson. What a great learning experience.
Very good point. If you can beat these guys, you can beat just about anybody.
Kevin Richards in 85. Greg Rodman in 2.
Battle for 4th position. And right behind behind them. The yellow and black car is number 4, Mark Reed. And then Brendan Gaughan, who continues to try to work his way back up through the field after a 4-tire stop. That was a little close there off the corner, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And he moves on the inside of Mark Reed. Does Brendan Gaughan, takes that spot away. Meanwhile, Craig Rodman gets by Kevin Richards and takes over the 4th position.
Richards won the opener of the series at Phoenix earlier this year and has led most laps so far this year, 142.
And Jason Small goes back in front,
leaving Schrader and Benson to battle for the 2nd position.
and looks like Schrader's going to take over that 2nd spot and try to run around Jason Small.
Jason finished 33rd with an engine problem here in 1999. His only start here, but right now he's up front. Series coming up on 38 laps completed. There's a leader, the number 14 car, Jason Small, last year's Rookie of the Year in this series. Right behind him, the 2 Winston Cup drivers that began from the front row. Ken Schrader, the pole sitter, is running 2nd, and Johnny Benson, who started outside row number 1, is currently running in the 3rd position.
And we're riding on board with Kenny Schrader, the Federated Auto Parts Pontiac, as he looks back at Johnny Benson. And the onboard camera, the learnframe.com onboard on Johnny Benson, looks forward at Kenny Schrader.
32 car of Eric Norris was in the pits a couple of times during the most recent caution. However, he now has begun to move back up through the field and has moved all the way up to 11th. And that 10th place car is Portengay right up ahead. Oh, big wiggle from Portengay.
Now, that was a classic pulling behind someone to take the air off the roof quarter.
And a good catch by Portengay.
That 35 car there, driven by David Starr, started at the very tail end of the field, and he's in 11th position. He won at Las Vegas just last week.
Benny, Bob, we're seeing from the Busch race and even a little bit Winston Cup happy hour, seems like a car doesn't really have to be right on the back of a guy here to take the air off the spoiler. They can be a car length or 2 back.
Same thing happened again as David Starr pulled up behind Portengay, and he was, you're right, Ray, he was a car length back, and all of a sudden Portengay just got extremely loose.
So Steve has dropped back several positions here in the last couple of laps. And here is Gaughan coming up on Reed in the battle for 5th position.
Both of those guys have come from 20th and 16th, respectively, after the first pit stop.
Meanwhile, up front, Benson sets his sights on the leader once again. Jason Small takes over the top spot. Going to turn 3. We've had 4 different leaders and 13 lead changes in the first 42 laps of this race. So we're not too far away from the halfway point. These guys are running about 2 seconds ahead of the 4th place car. So basically a 3-car fight for the lead.
And Jason Small in that 14 car is having absolutely the time of his life. Racing up here with Johnny Benson and Kenny Schrader at the California Speedway. As far as he's concerned, life does not get much better than this.
Only 20 years old. His first race in this series was at Mesa Marin in '98. He had a 10th place finish, and he was 6th in the championship points in his rookie season last year.
Now, he will make a tape of this race and when he goes looking for those sponsors, he will certainly take this tape and say, look, I raced with these guys. If I'd had just a little bit more money, they'd have never touched me.
And wouldn't that thing look good with your name on the quarter pound?
Yes.
Jason is from Bakersfield, California. He's staying right there with Benson and Schrader. Back here, the number 8 car driven by John Borneman III and the 22 of Donnie Holbrook. That's back in 16th and 17th position. And Small once again takes the lead. And looks like Schrader may go to second. On board with Kenny, and indeed he's got second spot.
Leaders come by, completing yet another lap.
We are 5 away from the halfway point. This is the 44 car of Bill Sedgwick, which is the last car on the lead lap in 23rd position. Now he loses a lap. 22 cars now on the lead lap.
And Bill Sedgwick said that he was having trouble getting around the big speedway here in California, but said, bring these guys to the short tracks, and I'll show them how to get around the racetrack.
15 lead changes so far, and the all-time record for lead changes in a NASCAR Winston West Series event is 16 at Motegi, Japan in November of 1999. So we may be seeing a record set here today. The number 4 car of Mark Reed, he's kind of anxious to get this race over with because he has to go to Irwindale Speedway, which is not too far from here, but it will take him a little bit of time to get over there to run a Southwest Tour event tonight. And here is Schrader now trying to get around Jason Small, but the youngster battles right along with him.
Goes back on the outside.
Well, Jason is learning from an experienced and competent race driver in Ken Schrader. And with that, we do have an all-time record, or we tie for Super Speedway's lead changes. 16 lead changes, and we're not even to the halfway point yet. But right now it is Ken Schrader showing the way over Small, Benson, Rodman, and Reed. Second 5, Gaughan, Richards, Bean, Norris, and Grady. Jenkins along with Benny Parsons, Ray Evernham, down to the pits, Ray Dunlap and Matt Yoakum. And we are less than 2 laps away from the halfway point of the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200 here at California Speedway, located in Fontana. Ken Schrader, Jason Small, Johnny Benson, the first 3, with Craig Rodman and Mark Reed running in the 4th and 5th positions. We're on board with Schrader, looking back on 2nd and 3rd place.
I'll tell you what, that camera looks back at that sun going down the front stretch, but unfortunately down the back stretch, these drivers will be looking into that sun.
Battle for 5th. Brendan Gaughan moves to that spot and puts Mark Reed back to the 6th position. So Brendan Gaughan is making a nice trek toward the front.
Brendan's car seems pretty good on long runs. He marched on up front and had just taken the lead not too long before that first pit stop. He seems to, the longer we run, the better his car seems to get.
I think that's Craig Rodman right in front of him, the 4th place car. I was right.
Brendan's a nice young man. That ride is new to him this year. Got his first win in that car at Mason Speedway just 2-3 weeks ago.
And Fred Graves, one of Dave's truck team, I guess he had the most success. Lives over in Charlotte. He's now helping Brendan Gaughan and Bill McAnally with this 16 car.
Brendan Gaughan has been driving race cars since he was 15 years of age, got most of his early experience off-road. Matt Yoakum.
Bob, he has climbed back into the top 5, but a problem has developed on the 16 car. He radioed in, there was some smoke in the cockpit. They weren't really sure what it was. He feels like there was an electrical fire of some sorts, possibly a fan. I asked Fred Graves, any idea which? He says, no, we're not sure. So we're not really sure of how bad the problem is, but at this juncture, the car is handling very well.
Flat onboard cameras on the roof of the car, so we wouldn't obviously see the smoke if there is any in the cockpit. Meanwhile, Jason Small and Benson and Schrader continue to run first, second, and third in no particular order.
And right now, looks like it'll be a dead heat down to the line.
That was the completion of lap number 52. Schrader sticks the nose of his car out front now by just a little bit down the backstretch. Ray Dunlap, are we expecting possibly another pit stop from Ken Schrader?
Well, yeah, Bob, they'll definitely have to come in one more time. They stopped on lap 21 and took right side tires only. So I would expect them to probably be in here if we stay green around lap 70, right in that area. And they have plenty of tires here, so they can put 4 tires on when they make that last pit stop. But Ray Evernham, one thing that I find a little bit interesting, Kenny Schrader said on the radio he'd like to have the car a little bit tighter. We don't hear guys say that very often here at California.
No, we have seen many guys, though, go overboard. Everybody's used to being so tight here. It seems like that everybody came back with a much looser setup from the Busch guys to the Winston Cup guys, and now some of the Winston West guys are talking about they might have went a little bit too far trying to free those things up. And I don't believe it'd be a lot of fun having a loose car at 190 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's what Austin Cameron said. He just, in previous years, his car was so tight that they decided to loosen it up and went too far, and that put him into the wall and out of the race. Boy, you got to really admire this kid Small, huh?
Yes, he's doing a fantastic job. But meanwhile, while these guys are battling back and forth and whatever they're doing, Rodman and Gaughan are getting closer and closer. Brendan Gaughan in 5th spot right now is about a second and a half behind the lead. There they come. Oh, Brendan Gaughan has moved up now to the 4th position.
And there's the in-car camera now with Brendan Gaughan, and there is no evidence of smoke at the moment. Wow, he doesn't wear gloves, huh?
Man, I haven't seen that in a long time.
No, some guys like to feel the steering wheel, but a man 24 years old, he needs to come up and talk to me a little bit about wearing gloves,
yeah.
and we could probably help him out with that. That's something absolutely positively should have gloves on, Brandon.
Why is that, Ray?
Well, Benny, several years ago I was in a bad accident, a bad fire in Martinsville, and the other driver did not have any gloves on, and he has suffered for the rest of his life from that. Simpson and tons of other people make gloves that you can feel the steering wheel through, and it will protect you in the event of a fire. You absolutely should never get burned in a race car with the protective clothing that we have available to us now.
Well, Ken Schrader is now in 2nd position to Johnny Benson, and Jason Small is 3rd as 22 lead changes have occurred here. We are shattering the previous lead change record on super speedways in this series.
This is John Metcalf, who started up in about the 4th position, but he's about to be lapped. He's back in 17th position. That is the leader right behind him.
Bobby Donner went a lap down just a few moments ago in the 18th position. Scott Gaylord is also a lap down. And Metcalf is in a backup car. He went to the rear of the field before the race, the green flag dropped.
Well, see, there you go. I'm glad you told me that. I didn't realize that.
And there goes Benson, and there goes Schrader, and here comes Small.
And right behind them comes Brendan Gaughan.
Ooh, now Rodman looked up high. Brendan Gaughan won the first race he ever competed in, an off-road race, the Twilight 200. Ran the full schedule in the Winston West Series last year, driving for Walker Evans Racing. And right now, he is running in 4th position as Johnny Benson leads here at California. Speedway, we are seeing a tremendous race. There are the first 3, and not too far. There's the top 4. Craig Rodman. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5, and up ahead is Johnny Benson. Battle for 3rd. Gaughan trying to get to the inside of Ken Schrader.
And Brendan Gaughan, you say, well, he drives a race car, but, you know, folks, he could be doing a lot of things. His grandfather owns hotels in Las Vegas. His father owns hotels and casinos in Las Vegas. But he has chosen to be a race car driver rather than a casino executive.
And he works hard at it, Benny. He works very hard to stay physically fit. He studies the race car. He tries to drive. He works at a driving school at Las Vegas Speedway just to try and get more laps behind the wheel.
He does have a degree in business management from Georgetown University, and he has played basketball on occasion, too. So, indeed, a real athlete.
He's vertically challenged. What do you mean he played basketball? Did he really?
That's what it says here.
We just got to get him to wear gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good friends with his dad, and I'm going to tell him.
Now, Craig Rodman closes in on Ken Schrader.
All of a sudden, Schrader's about to go back to 5th spot.
Oh, we have a crash. The 52 car of Mike Grady has crashed very hard, and a lot of debris on the racetrack. That car is very, very badly damaged. Let's hope we see some movement inside.
See some movement? Yeah. Man, he has hit something unbelievably hard.
Well, there we see him moving around.
Wow.
So the track crew is quickly there. Here's a replay.
Well, he's already hit the wall, front and rear. Man, oh man, that is unbelievably.
Mike is the leading rookie this year. He leads rookie points. Has spent the past 2 seasons competing in the Featherlight Southwest Series. He's 40 years of age. There is where he hit the outside wall.
It's amazing that wall is still standing. Wow.
We saw him moving around inside, but he is still inside the car.
And I don't think he's going to be too anxious to get out because that was just an unbelievably hard lift.
He's had a good year so far. He finished 10th at Phoenix, 12th at Mesa Marin, and 17th last weekend at Las Vegas. Well, the pits are open, and here they come, and really it's a pretty good timed caution flag. Nobody wanted to see it because of an accident, certainly, but it is well timed for many of these guys who needed a pit stop before the end of the race. Let's go down to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Bob, the 50 car making his way into his pit stall. I talked to James Ince. They're not going to make any major chassis adjustments to the 50 car. They will make a 4-tire pit stop. They were going to pit at lap 68. The 14 car was going to pit on lap 62, so timing was very crucial for him. They're not going to make any chassis adjustments to the 14 car, but they are going to change 4 tires. And also, Brendan Gaughan up to 3rd as the 50 car is down and away. Brendan Gaughan, no major adjustments on his car as well. Bob?
Good stop for for Benson. 22.8-second pit stop for Gaughan. We're down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bob, Kenny Schrader's car was more than just a little bit loose, so they went ahead and made a chassis adjustment 2 rounds in on the track bar, and also an air pressure adjustment. They say they think that should be enough. Now, Mark Reed in the 4 car is in, and they're making major chassis adjustments to this car. They've pulled out rubber out of the left front, put a rubber in the right rear, 4 tires. They're trying all kinds of things for Mark Reed.
Well, we're under our 3rd caution of the afternoon, and there is the reason for it. A crash involving Mike Grady, the leading rookie contender in the Winston West Series for 2000. We'll be right back. Speedway, the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200 for the Winston West Series, 63 laps old, under our 3rd caution of the afternoon. Jason Small is going to make a return visit to pit road.
Oh, man, there his track position goes right down the tube. He's running in 3rd spot.
Yep. He was in just a few minutes ago, but here he is once again. They're going to go to the right side of the car. Down to Matt Yoakum.
Bob, the problem on the 14 car, they feel like they left some lugs loose. He reported in there was a vibration or something amiss in the right front. They brought him back in, took the wheel off to check and see if everything was all right with the braking system. They put the tire and wheel back on. But he is losing valuable time on pit road and a lot of valuable track position on the racetrack.
And now the hood is up.
It sounds like it's missing the cylinder. It sounds like it just isn't running right. We heard him revving the thing to try to tell the guys this thing doesn't sound right. Does it sound right to you, Ray?
Benny, it's hard to tell. They run a little bit different compression in that engine than what I'm used to. But he might have loaded it up. Plug wire could have come off, plug wire could have melted, got hot on the header. Could be a lot of different things. It's just a shame what a great run he was having.
Sure is. And Ray Dunlap has an update on the 4 car of Mark Reed.
Well, Bob, I told you about all those wacky changes they were making with the chassis there. They took a rubber out of the left front, added one to the right rear, did a lot of other things. But Mark Reed came back in just a moment ago. The problem was the transmission was stuck in 2nd gear. So they got underneath with a couple of wrenches, beat on the linkage a little bit, and he said, well, that's got it fixed for now, so at least he can shift gears, and that's good news.
Well, the driver is still in the car, Mike Grady, out in turn number 2. We have seen him moving around. In fact, we've seen him with the helmet off, and he is taking a drink of water, but has not yet emerged from the race car. Looks like they may be calling for a collar or something before they get him out of the car.
There's Buster Alton. There, the heavy-set fellow with a Busch Series. This is.
They've got the jaws of life there that they apparently are going to use to maybe cut the car.
Sometimes when a car gets damaged like that in the front, it'll move the steering wheel or the pedals down to where the driver just can't get out. So he took a pretty hard hit, but we did see him moving, talking. So he might have a problem. There might be something down around his feet or a steering wheel laid down on his legs that they just don't want to take a chance on him trying to get around that, and they're going to move it with the jaws of life.
And often if a driver says that my back hurts, they will cut the car top off so that they can lift him straight out and not have to bend his back to get it out. So there's any number of things that could be the situation down there. But the good news is, again, we have seen him with his helmet off, and he's talking to everybody, and now the extrication process will continue. This comes on the 65th lap of the race. That has been a very, very competitive and good event to this point. 4 leaders and a record 22 lead changes on a super speedway. Most laps have been led by Johnny Benson, who continues to lead. He's led 34 circuits so far and has led on 9 different occasions. Ken Schrader has led the 2nd highest number of laps, 18. Jason Small and Brendan Gaughan have also led. But there are the top 10 right now with Benson, Craig Rodman, Brendan Gaughan, Ken Schrader, and Eric Norris in the top 5. And the coach is back in 9th spot.
Attaboy, Coach. Go get him.
And Matt has an update on the 14 car.
Well, Bob, talking to the 14 car's crew chief, Donnie Hubble, he said Jason Small is now reporting that the vibration has now gone away. When the car came in, they did check the lug nuts. They were all tight. They feel like maybe he might have picked up some debris or trash on the racetrack as far as rubber buildup. Maybe that caused the vibration, but now the vibration is gone, and so is his good track position. Now he's 14th on the board.
Be interesting to see if he can move up through the field when we go back to racing here, but he has a long way to go. And Mike has been taken from the race car. They didn't have to cut the roof off, so that's good.
Maybe you're right, Ray. Maybe they cut the steering column out of the car so they could get him out. Hard to tell. We can't really see him over there. And again, he was sitting in the car drinking and talking to folks. But obviously everything is not A-OK.
Well, obviously it was a very hard crash, but Mike is out of the car, and we should be going back to racing here in a few moments at the California Speedway in Fontana. For a moment here at the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200 at California Speedway for the NASCAR Winston West Series. We're about to complete lap number 69. Here's how they're running.
Jeff Jefferson back in the 15th spot. Those 15 cars all on the lead lap.
Cars that are at least one lap down now. Mike Grady there in 27th position. He is the reason for this caution that we are just coming off of, his crash over in turn number 2. And Christensen and Ash are out of competition. Just 4 cars are out of the race as we're about to complete lap number 70. Well, so far, nobody has really demonstrated a dominance here as Benson and Schrader have been up front the most, but a lot of other guys are very, very competitive. Well, the good news is that Mike Grady is out of the car. You see the neck collar on, but as he was moved toward the ambulance, there's what we wanted to see.
Wow, that's terrific.
So hopefully Mike is going to be okay. Down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bob, Craig Rodman's out in second place, and part of that was on pit road strategy. They took on right sides only. They did it on lap 21 and again here on lap 64. So his left side tires have been on for the entire race. But here's the interesting thing. They had a set of stickers down here and a set of scuffs. They put a sticker on the right front and a scuff on the right rear. So if Rodman wins, I think Ray Evernham has a new formula on how to win in racing.
Wow.
Wow. Sometimes the difference between a sticker and a scuff will dictate how much air pressure a tire builds up, so they might be trying to do just a little bit of something there as far as buildup is concerned.
Okay, here we go. Green is going to come out on lap number 71, and we're back to competition. Johnny Benson leads them across the line. Benson is in his very first NASCAR Winston West race. And now he begins to move away from the rest of the pack.
And here comes Brendan Gaughan, and boy, they go through the oil drive back there, and Gaughan trying to take over that second spot.
That's Scott Gaylord in the double zero car down at the bottom, and here comes Brendan Gaughan, and he has second. Now Brendan sets his sights on the leader, Johnny Benson. The separation between the two at the line, a half second.
Looked like when Brendan Gaughan backed off to go in the corner, that Benson just kept on going.
And again, BP, that sun shining very brightly at the end of the backstretch with the driver's eyes, and he is closing in on the leader, Benson.
Certainly getting to be a problem. And Greg Rodman all of a sudden is trying to go bound Brendan Gaughan.
Boy, he almost got up too high, it looked to me like. He left some marks up there.
And there's Eric Norris, the 32 car, the Jana King car, trying to take over that 4 spot, and does.
And so Rodman suddenly loses positions all the way back to 5th. And the 22 car of Donnie Holcomb, another rookie contender, is off the pace once again. He's running back in the 22nd position, 2 laps down. There's Portengay, who is still on the lead lap in 14th.
There's your leader, Johnny Benson. Second place, the Napa Chevrolet, Brendan Gaughan. Kenny Schrader. Isn't this about where we came in?
Yep, seems like it. These guys have been up front all afternoon. And at one time, Jason Small was up there battling with them. Jason right now back at 11th position, and right now it is Brendan Gaughan. On board with Kenny Schrader, the Federated Auto Parts Pontiac. Sat on the pole with a speed of 180.424 miles an hour. And there is Small, who is picking him off once again. He just passed the number 8 car of Borneman, and now he closes in on Mark Reed, who is in 8th spot.
I guess that answered the question about being on 7 cylinders or something wrong with the engine. You couldn't be doing these things if the thing was not firing on all 8 cylinders. This is 8th position.
And looks like he's got it.
Quite a distance to go to catch up with that next car.
That next car would be Joe Bean.
That's a battle for the lead right there.
Yep, once again, Gaughan takes a shot at Johnny Benson. Gaughan on the inside. Benson up high off corner number 4. Let's see who's going to lead this 76th lap. And it's Brendan Gaughan. So Brendan Gaughan, a regular competitor in the NASCAR Winston West Series, leads Benson and Schrader with less than 25 laps to go. And look at this. Up front, a continued battle between Brendan Gaughan and Johnny Benson. Benson looks like has a good run off corner number 4, but Gaughan is going to hold him off.
And meanwhile, Eric Norris is back there trying to take away that 3rd spot from Kenny Schrader.
They're the top 4. They're separated by less than a second.
And guys, Jason Small is coming. It's a shame there's not that many laps left, but that kid has done a heck of a job today.
He's back in the 8th position. Here's 12th and 13th, Jerry Glanville and Steve Portengay. Good job by the coach. Finished 11th at Las Vegas last weekend and has a 12th place finish going right here.
I mean, here's a football coach out there racing at 170 miles per hour. That is impressive.
And Mike Duncan is right there behind Steve Portengay, and Duncan runs in the 14th spot. Duncan is second in rookie points, and Portengay looks to the inside of Glanville. Duncan is second in the rookie points and is 10th overall in the point standings. His best finish so far this year was at Mesa Marin. He finished 4th.
Wingate seems to be just a little bit quicker than the coach right now, and he gains going in the corner. But when he get back on the accelerator, I think that Ernie Elliott power was able to keep coach in front. Maybe not this time.
Looked like the coach actually got a little bit loose coming up off that corner. He went a little bit high in the middle and then maybe just got a little bit loose.
So move Portgay up into 12th position. Duncan now looking for 13th. Another battle involves Craig Rodman and Joe Bean for the 5th spot.
Joe Bean in that food for less car.
Joe is 5th in the point standings going into this race. Had a 3rd at Mesa Marin a few weeks ago. His best finish here came last year when he wound up in 8th. And he right now is in 6th looking for 5th.
But that's Kevin Richards right behind him that's trying to take that spot away from him.
And Eric Norris is putting a considerable amount of pressure on Ken Schrader, and hats off to Eric Norris, who's had a good run.
And look at this sun they're driving into. Wow.
Eric Norris finished 3rd at Las Vegas last weekend.
Oh, man, he's got a terrific run on Schrader now. Trying to go on the outside. But Schrader comes up the hill.
Eric finished 12th here last year. In fact, he has finished 12th on 2 different occasions here. That's his best finish. So if he can hang on here, he'll have his best overall at California Speedway. Boy, that sun is almost to the point where you completely lose vision of who's ahead of you.
Jason Small has caught Kevin Richards. Never see that 14 car. And Ray, what an impressive run he has had today.
Really has. He has run those guys down from about 20 to 25 car lengths back.
Jason Small led 9 laps, but then dropped back due to a pit stop, and now takes the 7th position away from Kevin Richards. Well, just a little less than 15 laps to go now in the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200 at California Speedway. Back in a moment. It is Brendan Gaughan leading this 200-mile race here at California Speedway by about 0.6 of a second over Johnny Benson and by a 1.5 seconds over Ken Schrader, with Eric Norris running in 4th spot, less than 2 seconds behind. There is 3rd and 4th. And Matt Yoakum has more on Eric Norris.
Bob, this is exactly the kind of performance that Eric Norris was hoping for this afternoon. He told me this morning that they tested here, putting a lot of effort in the next few months because the TV show which he is a stunt coordinator on, Walker Texas Ranger, is on hiatus at this juncture. So they're hoping to turn in some good performances over the next 2 months and possibly move up to the Craftsman Truck Series next season. Also, he wanted to try to log some laps and learn from guys like Kenny Schrader and guys like Johnny Benson. That's exactly what he's doing right now, following the 55 car.
And Jason Small continues to march toward the front, but he may be running out of laps. He's battling Joe Bean for the 6th spot. Bean won't let him have it. Oh, they had to back off because of a slower car. That was at the bottom of the racetrack.
I tell you what, between that slow car and the sun, I don't blame Jason Small for backing off.
Now he's got a run going again, and it appears as if he will. Almost. Now Johnny Benson has closed in to about a car length and a half on Brendan Gaughan. Benson got a good run, looks to the inside of Gaughan.
quite make it. These guys have put about 2 seconds on the third-place car of Kenny Schrader.
Oh, car in the wall. Donnie Holcomb is in the wall.
And the caution flag is out.
That car had been smoking for the last couple of laps, and now it ends up scraping against the wall down the backstretch. It's going to bring down our 4th caution of the day, and it comes with less than 13 laps to go. Looks like he's going to be able to drive it back to the pit area. We pick up the crash, and he's already up against the wall.
Yes. And I tell you what, Roger Penske is going to have a white retaining wall tomorrow. He's got a lot of painting to do before tomorrow morning.
Donnie Holcomb picked up his first top 10 finish of his Winston West career last weekend at Las Vegas when he finished in 10th position. But he has flattened the right side of the car, and he is headed toward the pit area. Well, we've got about a 10-lap shootout set up here, it would appear, and we'll be back for it in just a moment to California. Here at California Speedway in Fontana. Caution is still out. They did not get the 1 more to go sign, so it'll be at least 2 more laps before they go back to green. We are cautioned because of an incident involving the 22 car of Donnie Holcomb, driver from Mesa, Arizona, who scraped against the wall. There he is. You can see the damage on the right side. And
David Starr is making a pit stop, changing tires.
Starr, the last car on the lead lap, so we really didn't lose anything by coming in for a tire change. And the 9 car of Duncan is also in, and he's in the same situation back at the tail of those on the lead lap, and so they're going to get fresh tires on and take a final run.
Now what they're going to have when they give the signal 1 lap to go, all the lead lap cars are going to line up nose to tail. We're going to have 14, 15 cars nose to tail, and all the lap cars will be behind them. So that was really good strategy on Duncan and Starr's part to make that pit stop, get those fresh tires.
Wow, look at that glare down the backstretch.
Well, the plastic windshield does add a lot of safety, but that is also one of the drawbacks. It does have a little bit more glare than a standard glass windshield, and as they run, it actually gets pitted a little bit. When the sun hits it, it does create a ton of glare.
I would hate to think of running 10 more laps in that, wouldn't you? Matt Yoakum has more.
And Bob, that is a concern for Jason Small. He said that he is having trouble seeing into the sun because of his windshield. So on the restart, he's going to take it very conservative. He feels like that he does have a good enough car to pick off the 3 cars in front of him. After that, it's anybody's guess, but the sun is a concern for him on the restart. DeRay?
Well, Matt, Kenny Schrader's been on the radio saying that his car's still just a little bit loose. He said, tell Johnny Benson if he's going to make a pass on that 16 to do it as quickly as he can, because we need to get by him together. Johnny Benson came back on the other radio and said, what do you think I've been doing for the last 10 laps? I'm trying to pass him. He's just too good.
Well, he's going to have about 9 laps to get the job done, as he is right now. Johnny Benson lined up second behind Gaughan. Jason Small is in 7th position. We'll see if indeed he can move up at the drop of the green. For the final, what will be 8 laps of racing, we hope. 91 laps are completed right now, and they're a lap away from the green flag and the resumption of our competition.
Well, somebody's got to go down and explain to the, what car is that? That's Scott Gaylord, that you can't do that. With 10 laps to go or less, you line up behind all the cars on the lead lap.
Looks like he has gotten the word, because he's letting everybody go around. Single file restart here with less than 10 laps to go. Well, what do you think, BP? Pick a winner.
Well, it's going to be very tough. I mean, Johnny Benson, I think, is the odds-on favorite right now to win, but he's been trying to pass Brendan Gaughan, and we're seeing some speeds. Those last few laps, we saw some speeds faster than we've seen all day, so Brendan Gaughan has a pretty good race car. Kenny Schrader, who knows? And Jason Small back there, if he could just go a little bit closer, he might give these guys a run for the money. Wait, Ray.
Benny, sentimentally, I'd like to see either Brendan or Jason Small get a run at it, but I'm afraid Schrader and Benson have a little bit more than they've been showing us.
Those two guys, of course, are in this race to gain as much track time as possible in preparation for the NASCAR Winston Cup race, which will be held here tomorrow. Well, here we go. Slowly moving through the corner.
Look at those guys back about 6 through 12, trying to get, just gnawing on that rear bumper in front of them, trying to get as close as they can, trying to get by.
But they're way up high because you cannot pass down low before you pass the start-finish line, and so everybody protects his position up front. Now the mad scramble begins as the green flag waves, and here comes Johnny Benson to the outside of Brendan Gaughan and takes the lead.
And Mark Reed, the fourth car, his car is not up to speed, and Brendan Gaughan goes back in front.
Very impressive run down the backstretch on the inside as Brendan Gaughan does go back in front as they hit the third turn. And Ray, what's the matter with Mark Reed?
Transmission, Bob. He said it just popped out of gear. He can't get it back in. So a top 10 finish looks like it's out of the possibilities for Mark Reed.
And meanwhile, Benson goes for the lead again. And at the line, he has it. But Gaughan battles back on the outside. Wow. And here comes Schrader. And look at Benson protecting the position. Gaughan goes to the outside.
On board with Kenny Schrader, the Federated Auto Parts on board, back in third spot. A little bit closer to the front, he's trying to figure out.
6 laps to go. First and second separated by 3-4 car lengths. Kenny Schrader, meanwhile, inches in on Brendan Gaughan for second.
Last lap, Johnny Benson ran almost 175 mile per hour average.
We've got 5 to go. That time he was over 175, Benny.
Oh, and a crash down in one. Hard contact. Joe B's in the wall hard.
Rodman is in it, and so we believe is Jason Small. Rodman's number 2 car now at the bottom of the racetrack, and Bean in the 77 up high. That was a very devastating crash, and it involved several very good cars. They were running back in 6th, 7th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Hope everybody's okay. Some of them took a really hard shot.
Greg Rodman took the hardest lick. He lost the car going down in turn 1. See Joe Bean moving around in the car. Never see Rodman, the black car, number 2, going down that corner, and just as he enters the corner, as he turns the car about right here, it just comes out from under him.
And again, no contact, but you're right.
Car just came out from under him. He goes up the racetrack right in front of Jason Small. Nothing he can do. He turns him right in the wall head on and then hits him again. And meanwhile, Joe Bean, I guess trying to avoid the crash, or maybe someone ran in the back of Joe Bean. He spins around and in the wall. Let's see if the Portingate gets in the back of, I think maybe he did. Portingate might have touched Joe Bean. Man.
Well, in the Winston West Series, the race cannot end under the caution. That is a new rule for the year 2000, so we will have a green-white checkered to the finish. And Joe Bean has climbed out of his food for less car. But Rodman, you're right, took the hardest shot. That car almost directly head-on into the outside wall.
And Jason Small has brought his car down to pit road, and the crew is working on the car.
Bean will be able to walk away from the crash. But it has brought out the caution here with just a few laps remaining in the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200.
Hey, Neil, can we look at that?
Footage is being taken from the racetrack. There's Joe Bean's car that is on the back of a wrecker. Now, over in the turn 2 area, that is Joe Bean on the right, and Craig Rodman has just sat down himself on the stretcher. He is okay. You can see he's maybe got a bit of a foot injury, but for the most part, he is okay. But, boy, he's a lucky man.
I'm telling you, because he took a tremendous blink. And, you know, during the break, Ray Evernham picked something up, and when we show this replay again, Ray, go right ahead.
Benny, it looks like the left rear tire goes down on that car. You can see a little piece of rubber. See the belt on the tire moves funny and leaves a skid mark? I believe the left rear tire went down on that car going in the corner.
And they reported from the pits that he had not changed left sides the entire race. So maybe, just maybe, and I thought a bit ago when he changed those right sides, as we see Jason Small, a 14 car, get into Craig Rodman, with all that debris on the racetrack from the crash, Mike Grady's crash, I wondered about the wisdom of just changing 2 tires. That with all that debris, a guy should have changed 4. Possibility he punctured a tire.
Could have been, Benny. You know, either a piece of rubber or a piece of debris comes out from underneath that left rear tire right before that car crashes or starts to go sideways.
Well, Craig is the owner of the Victory Circle chassis shop. He's got a lot of work to do on that race car. Probably better off just to throw it away, huh?
Yeah.
Start over.
Looks like it.
But the good news is that Craig appears to be okay. Well, we're about to complete the 99th lap here. And under normal circumstances, we would have just 1 to go. But again, the NASCAR Winston West Series cannot end a race under caution, and so we'll have at least a 2-lap dash to the checkered flag.
What is Yerf Dog?
I don't know.
YerfDog.com. Dave Reed, the owner of that car, lives up around in the Silicon Valley, so I guess it's Ray. What's going on?
Well, Benny, I want to tell you about Yerf Dog because Craig Rodman told me to make sure that you did not think that that was a jumbo hot dog.
Okay.
Yerf Dog is actually a little go-kart that you can run, you know, like off-road, like in the dirt and in the mud and stuff. And I guess they sell them at Walmart, but he said it is not a jumbo hot dog, so you just calm down up there.
Okay. All right. Well, it said.
There's Jason Small, who has had a terrific afternoon, but he climbs out and is apparently going to sit on the sidelines for the rest of the race. Matt?
Well, Bob, we caught up with Jason Small. Jason, boy, a great drive. What happened there late?
I don't know. 2-car, I think we're a little bit faster, and he wouldn't work with us and lost it in front of me. You know, Small Motorsports did an excellent job. I think we had a really great race car, but one of those breaks.
Just how great was that car? You made it from the back almost all the way back up to the front.
I got up there, and I was running with Johnny Benson and Schrader, and, man, my car worked good, you know, and I could run with them, and, you know, I was trying to save gas and save the tires, and when it was time to go, you know, we had a bad pit stop and had to come in and make a change, but, you know, all in all, this Small Motorsports team, they worked their tails off, and we had a great race car. It's sad to see it go like this.
What'd you learn today from Schrader and Benson?
Can't even tell you because there's so much.
He puts a smile on his face, but still a tough day.
Well, I don't know who he will go to call, but I'll bet he gets on the phone before too long and brags about just what he bragged about, running with Benson and Schrader. Well, 11 cars on the lead lap now. As we get set to go back to racing, the field is being given the 1 lap to go signal.
And what we got, green, white checker, that's the deal. We could be here all night.
Well, let's hope we don't have any more crashes.
All right.
The situation is that Johnny Benson, Brendan Gaughan, Ken Schrader, and Eric Norris have all been running very, very close together. Now, during that last green flag period, we saw Benson begin to pull away a little bit from Brendan Gaughan. But Gaughan has one more shot at it, and he's got 4 miles to keep up with and hopefully, in his case, pass Johnny Benson. Benson has never competed before in the Winston West Series. This is his very first race, and it could result in a victory. He started on the outside of the front row. Ken Schrader was a pole sitter, and Schrader sits back there in third, also very much in this. And Eric Norris is fourth. Steve Portengay, who came very close to being involved in that most recent accident, is running in the 5th position.
One of our spotters is talking to the spotters on the roof with Kenny Schrader's crew, and he said he feels like he might have the wrong gear in the car. Does not have quite enough oomph off the corner. If that's the case, he needs to try to pass these 2 guys while they're going through the transmission through 2nd, 3rd, or 4th gear. And once he gets in front, he might be able to stay there. But, all right, here we go. The pace car is off.
This will complete lap number 101. The green will come out on lap 102. Here we go, the final 2 laps of racing at the California Speedway for the NASCAR Winston West Series. And Schrader goes to the inside in a car smoking badly on the restart.
In the 3rd, as it looks like he's lost an engine.
One of those on the lead lap. He was up in the 7th position. Now on the racetrack, Schrader has taken 2nd place away from Brendan Gaughan.
And Eric Norris is on the inside of Gaughan trying to take away that 3rd spot.
And Steve Portengay is there in the number 3 machine. Eric Norris moves inside of Gaughan in the battle for 3rd spot. Through the corner they come, wheel to wheel. Down for 1 more lap to go. The white flag is waving on Johnny Benson. He's got several car length advantage now on Schrader.
And Kevin Richards was able to get by Steve Portengay to take over that 5th spot.
And now Gaughan has a good run. He comes up on Schrader. The car washes out, though, and goes high on the racetrack, and he lost all of his momentum right now. And we have another crash. It's the number 3 car of Portengay, who was running in 5th position. The checkered flag is coming out, however. Let's see what happens up front. It is Benson leading by a comfortable margin coming off corner number 4. And in his very first Winston West race, Johnny Benson wins. Schrader 2nd and Brendan Gaughan 3rd in the California Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix 200.
And Jerry Glanville, the coach, will finish 6th this afternoon.
And David Starr, who won last week at Las Vegas, came home in 7th position. Well, Steve Portengay, here's what happened to him as he came off corner number 2.
Comes off the corner. That's Kevin Richards in front of him. He's trying to get a run. And all of a sudden, as he comes off the corner, the back end just comes out from under it. Oh, and he said, oh, no, I got this close. I mean, almost to the
roof flaps up.
Yeah. Spoiled the lift on the car. And here it is from another angle. And again, no contact, but he just lost control, slid to the inside. And the roof flaps kept him on the racetrack, but it did result in a poor finish. Johnny Benson wins at California. Go to victory lane.
Great crowd reaction here for Johnny Benson. Very first time you run in the Winston West Series and you get the victory. What a great run.
Yeah, not too bad for a rookie, huh? I tell you what, a lot of guys run really strong today, but man, this LearnFrame.com Pontiac ran pretty good, and James Inch, all the guys, Tyler Jet, just really good job. Got to thank Winston West Racing Series. They got a great series. It's just a lot of fun, and Schrader being Schrader, been going back at it. He had saying that he was going to come do this. I said, hey, I'll come bother you. Yeah, apparently I bothered him a little bit, but no, we had a good time. Like I say, a lot of guys ran really strong, and I say it's a pretty good series.
And you got passed a bunch of times by a bunch of young guys that got some good experience too.
Yeah, this engine that we got in this thing's like 3 years old, sitting in the garage out of one of the trucks over there, and it ran really good, but it's probably 15, 20 horsepower down, but the car was awesome through the corners, and I was a little nervous with 3 to go. I says, man, we're going to get beat, and we're just fortunate that as long as I got to the corner, I knew I'd be okay because the car was pretty good through the corners.
Johnny Benson in victory lane in his very first Winston West race. Now to Matt Yoakum.
Ray, Brendan Gaughan almost picked up his second victory in 2000. What a schooling today.
I just told my crew chief, Shane Wilson, it was race car driving 101 out there. I made a mistake. Once again, I'm still trying to run the Cup boys. I missed a shift on the first one and let Johnny go by, and tried to struggle to get back by him, but he got me on the next one. And then Mr. Schrader here, he's just a little bit brighter than me, and he got around me, and I was trying to keep up, but just had the Napa team had the car, and I just think the driver needs a little more schooling before he can beat them guys.
Racing with guys like Schrader and Benson, what did you learn today?
Learned how to do a restart better. I mean, you know, it was really nice in the beginning of the race when we got behind them. They both let me lead a couple laps to get the bonus points, which is in case we don't get back up there. And that was really cool, both of them. And then in the end of the race, you know, we made a good pet. We got by them both on the long run, and the Napa team, they gave us a great car. They made a change on the end, and I kind of prematurely said something about Shane. I was like, it didn't work. And then about 5 laps later, I go, oh, maybe you need to let the tires warm up. But that's once again one of those rookie things. But I'm really happy for, you know, the Napa weekend for these guys, and we're at Napa into third place. We said top fives and win the Martin Senior team a championship, so that's what we're trying to do.
Congratulations, his fourth straight top 5, Bob.
Brendan Gaughan, the highest finisher of the Winston West regulars. Eric Norris had a great race finish 4th. Kevin Richards and Jerry Glanville also a very good finish in the 6th position. Never before had there been as many lead changes on a super speedway race in Winston West competition. There were a record 24. 4 lead changes. Johnny Benson led the most. And here are the points now after 4 of 12 races, with Brendan Gaughan on top of Kevin Richards by 109 markers. That's the story from California Speedway. Johnny Benson wins in the Pontiac Wide Track 200. Thanks for joining us here at California Speedway. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com.